Hello, and welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thank you very much for tuning in and following me as I explore the wide world of pens. And you see in front of you 3 of the new model of Hongdian Black Forest series. I think they're great. We have a steel, brass, and carbon fiber. And yes, they were in cellophane, which I removed. No need. I got hundreds of those little cellophane condoms. So we're going to explore these pens in some detail, but it's going to be a quick overview. I will decide to dive down deep in these pens a little bit later, but they seem to be only for sale on Amazon at a specific site. The link is in the description. So if you're interested, I suggest you check them out and see if any of these pens might appeal to you. We're going to put them on a turntable. We're going to watch them turn around because I think they are turntable worthy. Stay tuned. I was provided these pens who was associated with Asvine. He sent me some V159 pens, which I really enjoyed. And he asked me if I wanted to review these new Black Forest pens, and I said sure. So he sent me these 3 for my unbiased, objective review. So here we have the 3 pens on a turntable held up by crabs. Say no more. They deserve the crab's attention. 3 very nice finishes, which I like a lot. The steel one, silver tone one, is familiar with a lot of other Hongdian pens that are similar type of look. But the brass one is a little bit different, and I like it. And of course, carbon fiber is new. My guess is the carbon fiber will certainly be the more popular of the 3 of these pens. Let's zoom in a little bit, see if we can catch some of the nuances of that pen. They are nice, and I'm really have, again, more admiration and respect for all that Hongdian's doing to improve their line and model of pens, upgrades. And we're going to look at some of the interesting features on these pens that differentiate them from the original Black Forest series. We're going to use this one to show off the snap cap. Very secure, very solid feeling. I like that interesting line down the middle of the clip. It's overall just a nice design. It is an evolution from Black Forest, but almost more refined than Black Forest. Certainly has a classy, high-end look to it, especially the way the finish is on the steel pen. So I think one thing that's interesting is to look at how they did the top of the cap of that new logo that they did. The brass one is matte, the steel one is silvery, and of course the carbon fiber is a matte black. Very nicely done, and they're all 3 aligned the same way. So I have 2 Black Forest pens, a blue one and a black one. And one of the things that's apparent is the new model of the Black Forest is bigger, more girth. It's about the same length, so that hasn't changed. And one of the things that I appreciate about what they've changed is the clip. This is a nice solid clip on the new one, whereas the original Black Forest had a rolled clip, where this is a flat piece of metal that they roll the end, punch it, and roll it. I mean, it was a good clip, a little bit stiff. The new one is more flexible, so therefore more usable. The other big difference is the top of the pen. It's the first time I've seen that recessed, but they put the identification on the top of a lot of their pens. So I have two of the 516, which I thought were similar, but they're not. This has more of a gray look to it, a different coloring. You know, the ends look pretty similar, where the cap can be posted here. And the clip also is a substantial clip, similar to what they've been using a lot on their Hongdian pens. So one of the things that I've done is I've acquired 3 of these rainbow number 5 Hongdian nibs. Not a very great variation in color, but it is nice, and it does look different than the other nibs. So we'll be experimenting with those as time goes on. I bought them on Amazon, and it was a good price, I thought. You may ask what other original Black Forest pens that I have, and here's that rainbow pen, also available on Amazon. But I think this is a good way to show those 2 clips. Much more substantial clip on the new model. I don't know whether you can see how that's made of a thin piece of steel that's rolled and formed, where this is like a solid piece of steel. Forged is the word I would use if I was describing how I think that clip was formed into its shape. You can also see some of the other differences. If we go to the top finial, we'll notice that the 1861 is a little bit of a matte finish, which I think is very interesting. Again, I'm always impressed with the attention to detail of Hongdian, and I think they really show how much they care about every pen that they make. So here I've disassembled the carbon fiber version of the new Black Forest series. It's a standard Hongdian number 5 nib assembly that unscrews from the section. And I did take the converter apart because I removed the spring. It just makes cleaning out much more difficult because that collects ink. And I don't think it does anything to remove ink tension. The objective of having something inside of the converter is to keep the ink flow consistent and to keep it down by the nib, because you store your pen's nib up, so the ink will collect away from the nib. When you try to write and the nib is down, that ink may not flow down because it may have some cohesion with the ink. So that's supposed to break up that cohesion, but I never found it to work. I don't want the hassle of having it make cleaning the pen out a PIA. So we're in daytime dark mode, and we're bringing in the LED. Carbon fiber certainly is an interesting look. I find it attractive. If we look inside the cap, we'll see a nice solid plastic liner, small ledge in there to seal up the nib, and the top section is also reduced, so that should keep that nib pretty wet. It's a pull-off cap, so it just has something to grip the end of the section. If we look inside the barrel, we'll just see some nice brass. And the one thing I've noticed in a lot is towards the top of the barrel, where the end of the converter would be, it's a little bit narrower, which should minimize that converter rattling around. Nice threads, not much weight to it. So that's it. One of the things I liked that Hongdian did is they put a small O-ring down there at the bottom of this nib collar. That'll seal up against the section. I'll put a little bit of silicone grease there, a little silicone grease on these threads, so this is easy to remove if I want to do it at a future time. And that does look like a medium nib. I got a medium fine and extra fine which is nice. We can compare how they write at a future date. So there's been a question about whether this is a real carbon fiber on this pen, and my answer is yes. It's a thin sheet that is rolled around a brass core, and I think you can barely see the seam here in the cap, and I lined up the seam I find in the barrel right below it. It's hard to see in the viewfinder, but hopefully it's visible. I got some strong light, sunlight, so that's how this carbon fiber pen becomes what it is. It's a technique that was used a lot with vintage pens where they rolled celluloid sheets to make a barrel and cap. So what ink to put into the carbon fiber Black Forest pen? Well, this ink called out to me. I haven't used it in a while. Many of you may recognize the shape of the bottle. And this is a pigmented black ink, non-corrosion, smooth writing, and recording documents, because it is very permanent and it is very black. So let's see how it works in that medium black nib in the carbon fiber pen. So now it's time for some editorial comments and a final writing sample. I think you know what my comments are going to be. Great pen again from Hongdian. The new model, the Black Forest, I'm very, very happy with. I think they did a nice job, improved the clip. It feels good. All the finishes feel good on all three pens, and I've been focusing on the carbon fiber one because I think that probably will be the most interest to people. Pop-off cap, very securely in place. And if you want to, the cap posts very securely at the end of that barrel, but makes for a very long pen, and it's back weighted. So, and I'm not a poster in general, but it's nice that you know you can put the cap there if you want to. For the writing, we will not do that. The section works good. We'll give you the dimensions of the section. I think we need to put some more of that Hero black ink down on this Fabriano paper. I mean, this nib is very smooth, but it has what I consider to be the perfect amount of feedback. I just enjoy writing with it. And considering the bent black nib I wasn't happy with, this medium nib is just perfect. And I've read some reviews where other people that have this pen have also felt the nib is very great. So let's rate this pen. I'm going to give it a 9.8. It almost made 9.9, but just quite didn't get there. The nib gets 2 checks. The build and design get a check. And the carbon fiber look gets 2 checks. So I like the pen, and I like the other 2 also. Depending upon how motivated I get, I got a bunch of pens to review that I haven't discussed, so we'll see if I get around to the brass and steel one and show you those nibs, comparing them to this nib. Hope this video finds all of you safe, healthy, and happy, enjoying your pens. Thank all of you for watching. May you have some great pens that you enjoy using, and use them. Put some ink down. That's what it's all about. We've reached the end of this video, and this nib consistently writes extremely well. Very, very happy. I think they've upgraded their nibs in these new models, and I think they're very good. So we need to say bye until the next video. Nice writing.